This is the Goalie Kid. It's a fictional hockey podcast about an 18-year-old goalie trying to find his way in life. Along the way, him and his friends learn about business, life, and what they want out of life. Chapter 6. Graduation had finally arrived. Benny was dressed in his cap and gown, ready to collect his diploma. He, his brother, and his parents made their way to the car and drove to the academy. At the academy, the auditorium was jam-packed. The graduation class made their way to the back of the auditorium. Benny saw Johnny, who was a few spots behind him. "Hey, Johnny," said Benny. "Hey, bud, how have you been?" "I'm doing great. How about you?" "I'm also doing great. I've been practicing a lot and doing everything I can to prepare for college hockey." "Hey, that's great to hear. You're going to do great, buddy." The principal, who happened to be the guest speaker for the ceremony, began his speech. "Good afternoon, everybody. It's an honor to be the guest speaker for the 2022 graduating senior class of the Bork Academy. Few things can compare to graduating from a preparatory high school. To the graduating class, I would like to say that you have a significant advantage that few others have access to. I hope that you will use this advantage no matter where you go." The principal then began to call names. Once Benny's name was called, he made his way outside to the football stadium, where he met up with his family. "I'm so proud of you," said his mother. "Thanks, Mom," said Benny. Jenny eventually made her way out of the auditorium and found Benny. "Hey, Benny!" shouted Jenny from across the way. "I didn't see you earlier." "Well, I was well ahead of you in line." "That's true. Come on, I want you to meet my family." "Okay." Jenny and Benny walked over to her parents. "Mom, Dad, this is Benny." "Oh, so you're the star goalie," said her father. "Yeah, that's me." "So, what are you doing for college?" "Oh, I'm playing minor league hockey for at least a year." "Really? Do you think you can make it to the pros?" "I do believe that I'll go pro." "Yes, that's all well and good, but do you have a backup plan?" "No, I haven't given it much thought." "Well, don't just think about it. Take action. Explore your interests. You're not going to have hockey forever." "I know. I understand." After Benny finished meeting with Jenny's family, he went to Zuccarella's with his family. During the ride to the restaurant, he kept thinking about what Jenny's father said. "Dad?" "Yes, son?" "I was thinking about what I would do if I couldn't play hockey anymore." "Well, you do have the option to go to college if things don't work out." "Yeah." Once they arrived at Zuccarella's, they would have a wonderful dinner. But Benny would still have the thought of not being able to play hockey linger in his mind. The first day of training camp would be physically draining for Benny. The Hornets would focus mostly on skating. But for the last 10 minutes of the practice, the team would work on their stick handling and shooting. Throughout most of the week, Benny was pushed to his limits. He wasn't perfect, but he stopped most of the shots in the scrimmages and did well in helping with breakouts. The second week would be the final week of training camp. During this time, players would be cut. The roster limit was 25 players. That included 3 goalies, 12 forwards, and 8 defensemen. There were currently 27 players trying to make a spot. 2 players needed to be cut. There would be one final scrimmage to determine who stayed and who went. On Monday morning, the team would face each other in the scrimmage. Each side had an extra player. The rule for each side was that everyone had to get some playing time. There were 4 players that needed to prove themselves. 2 of them were on the blue team, and the other 2 were on the red team. The scrimmage would only be 30 minutes long. The scrimmage began with a simple breakout from the red team. Benny was on the blue team. The red team had some struggles breaking out, but still kept the clock going. 2 minutes later, the action was down in the blue team's zone. Benny was a bit overwhelmed with the screens. But when the last screen was cleared, Benny stopped the puck on the right side of the net. The score was still 0-0. 3 minutes later, there was a screen that the defense failed to clear out. Benny was scored on by one of the wingers. Once the scrimmage had ended, the 2 players on the blue team who were vying for a spot were cut. The Hornets finally had their team. 25 players ready for action. The Hornets would begin their first 3 games of the season on the road. Benny had made it to starting goaltender, but it wasn't without its struggles. Benny was not used to the intensity of minor league hockey. Fortunately for him, the team's defense was one of the best in the league. The Hornets would begin their first 3 games on the road. The Hornets would win those first 3 road games, only allowing 4 goals total. The team couldn't have asked for a better start. Part 2. It was mid-October. Benny had won 9 straight games. His goals against average was the highest in the league, and he recorded 2 shutouts. The Durango Hornets were going for their 10th straight victory. Today was an afternoon game for the Hornets. Their opponents, the Las Vegas Warriors, were also hoping to continue their winning streak. Jenny was there, along with Johnny and his girlfriend Danielle. The game began as most games typically went for the Hornets. There was no score for the first period. But once the second period started, things began to change. At the start of the second period, the Warriors came out hard. They took several shots on Benny, but none of them went through. The next play, the captain of the Hornets accidentally tripped one of the Warriors' defensemen. The Warriors would then go on the power play. After the first face-off, they began to take advantage of Benny. The captain of the Warriors slashed his goalie pads. Then, a shot was made from the blue line. As Benny was about to make the save in the butterfly position, the captain scrambled for a shot. But as he did, he shoved Benny's left leg and pelvis against the goalpost. The goal counted to the crowd's dismay. After the goal was scored, Benny was left in excruciating pain. Jenny, Johnny, and Danielle were in complete shock. "Is he going to be all right?" asked Jenny. "I don't think so," said Johnny. "He does not look okay at all," said Danielle. The team's medic wasted no time getting him off the ice. The medic then took him to the locker room to help him ease the pain. The medic helped Benny to his seat. "How are you holding up, Benny?" asked the medic. "Not good," said Benny, whispering in pain. "You're going to be okay, kid. Let's get your gear off and then I'll drive you to the emergency room. The Hornets would lose that game 3-0. Their opportunity to win 10 straight was nullified. Benny would wake up in the emergency room the next day. His leg was in a cast. His parents and brother were there. Jenny was at work and unable to be there. "Hello there, I'm Dr. Stefan." "Hi, doctor," said Benny. "How's my leg?" "Well, your leg will recover, but I would advise you not to play competitive hockey, at least for a little while. It may take years for you to fully recover." "So, what now?" asked his father. "I would suggest for him to go home, get some rest, and stay off the leg for a while. Relax and eat healthy." 1 week later, Benny would be back home. He would be using crutches. Getting up the stairs was an issue for him. When he got upstairs to his bedroom, he rested for 2 hours. Being concerned about Benny, his mother came into his room to check on him. "Hey, are you awake?" "Yes, Mom." "Jenny called. Are you feeling all right?" "Not too bad." "Great. Jenny wanted to come over and watch movies." She got on the phone and then let Jenny know he was doing all right and up for movies. Once Jenny arrived, Benny was put at ease. His pain was almost non-existent. He felt like himself again. "Hey, how are you?" asked Jenny. "I'm okay, but I'm better now that you're here." "Great. I brought some movies if you want to watch them. Anything in particular?" "Maybe The Odyssey in Space. Have you ever seen it?" "No, Benny, I haven't." "We can stream it." "Okay." The movie began with 2 astronauts orbiting with a satellite. The 2 astronauts were finishing repairing the satellite. Once they finished, they went back to the shuttle and traveled to Mars. There were many satellites around other planets that they repaired. After they got past Neptune, the computer on the shuttle began to malfunction. Barry, the mainframe system, began to take control of the shuttle and redirected it back to Earth. The astronauts tried to get back into the system, but were locked out. When they got past Mars, they contacted Earth's command center. "That was a good movie," said Jenny. "Yeah, it was." "I'll see you tomorrow." Jenny paused for a moment. "You know, even though you may not be able to play hockey now, you can make a difference. It's not all about the player on the ice, but rather the player off the ice. You are an amazing human being. Don't ever change." Hey everyone, this is Adam. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Goalie Kid. Please be sure to rate this podcast on all your favorite podcast apps and write a little review as well. Also, be sure to share this with a friend. Thank you.